Now, just over 5 years ago, TAPA EMEA's board of directors took the decision to appoint a full-time president and CEO and to start building a full-time team to provide 24/7, 365 days a year focus on driving the association forward and most importantly to deliver more benefits for TAPA EMEA's membership as they face the threat of rising cargo crime across the region. The goal, quite simply, was to grow more, achieve more, and to deliver more, to make TAPA the leading cargo security and supply chain resilience industry association in EMEA. Since then, at these annual conference events, members have received regular reports outlining TAPA EMEA's progress, its current initiatives, and upcoming benefits for members. And of course, this year is no different. So, for the latest news and to lead us into TAPA EMEA's annual general meeting, please welcome back your President and CEO, Thorsten Neumann, fresh from the changing room.
Thank you. There should be somewhere a cable. There was a cable earlier before. Let's wait and see. Okay, it doesn't matter. Let's start this one. Again, very warm welcome. This is the normal part, you know, that it's part of the AGM. So we would like to give you an update where we are, what are we doing, and what do we plan, you know, for the next 12, 24, 36 months. The entire BOD is here in the first row, so just to let you know, they're all sitting there. And if you have questions, we are more than happy, and all of them are more than happy to answer your questions. We had tremendous changes and tremendous new tools and systems over the last 12 and 24 months. There's one thing, I must say, which is really one of the game changers, which is our own TAPA EMEA app. I hope you downloaded the app already, either in the Android store or on the iPhone store. And if you started, you can already see the next session. And if you want, you can also see what's going on later today. Or you can check the exhibition, or you see where the party will take place. So we just sent out a new registration code, because it's very important. The code will always change every 2 weeks. So you cannot use it after 2 weeks. And there's a reason for that, because we need to restrict, of course, access and control access. What is also quite important, please read the rules for the TAPA EMEA app. The worst thing is, let's not use it as a sales platform, okay? Because you know it, we are a networking opportunity. We would like to speak to peers. We would like to speak really from colleagues to colleagues, sometimes with your competition, because we have that very sensitive items. I think what is also quite important, if we look at the last 24 or 12 months, and as you know, the last couple of days are also not very easy, especially if you have stocks or shares from any company in the world. The market is quite interesting. China just announced an 84% tax on the US. I think Trump will react in the next 2 hours when he is awake on his golf course in Miami. But let's wait and see what the next reaction will be. It's also quite important always to remind you, you know, what TAPA really means, and that we have a global presence together with our friends and colleagues from TAPA Americas and TAPA APAC. If you have questions, we have representatives here from all regions, but of course you can also always reach out to us, and we are more than happy to answer your questions. When we go back a couple of years, you know, and when we take a look what really happened when COVID started, we all thought that COVID is the thing. It's the crisis, you know, we never expected. But then the world really became a very interesting rotation, and we came from one crisis to the other one. And right now, as you know, we are in a kind of a tax war. You know, there are a lot of wars ongoing also, but we are also in a tax war. Unfortunately, criminals always use that for their advantage. And you will hear later, also from some speakers, what's going on in the market right now. But if you look really at all the data, it's very interesting to see how fast criminals are really reacting and acting related to the change within the economy, and related to the change in the politics, and related to the change also on prices, what you see like precious metal, you know, or the latest smartphones. That's also interesting. And I'm really looking forward, you know, when it will happen, because as you know, one of the biggest smartphones manufacturers in the world is manufacturing all the products in China. And when he will pay then, let's say, 54% tax on top of it, an iPhone or another one, it's not 1,500 euro anymore, it will be 2,300 euro. So which means a Euro pallet is not 1.5 million anymore. A Euro pallet will be 2.3 million. So for the logistics guys, I wish you good luck with that. Which means at the end of the day, the TSR is very important. I think what is also quite important, and you can see it, we saw that when, fuel price is going up, fuel theft is going up significantly. Crazy numbers on fuel theft. You can also see it, for example, when you go and say, okay, what's going on now with, food? Food and beverages, it's also going up. And we really identified that. And of course, cybercrime is another big thing. The demand is always there. And we always provide new stuff. And we always give you new tools. So first of all, of course, AI also changed our world. And AI is making our world also easier. I hope you like the TAPatron. It's AI. The opening video, 80%, okay, that's maybe too much. It's AI. If you look at some of our tools, it's already AI. 5 years ago, we needed translation services to translate our standards into different language. Nowadays, everything is AI. That's the reason why we are faster, better, and we can adapt faster also to the market. So if you need a language, we can do it in less than 1 week, and we can provide you another language. This is amazing, especially with some of the initiatives we launched related to the driver training, for example. In the European Union, there are approximately 17 different languages, and you can reach 98% of the drivers on the European Union market. So the team did an amazing job. And I would like to say special thanks really to Markus Prinz, Panna, and the people behind them, because they rolled out the driver training, within a couple of days in 17 languages. We have the driver card, and we shared everything, with the European Union and the European Commission, and they love it. They really love it. And tomorrow we also have a representative from the European Commission already here. And it's really interesting, to see and listen to these people and to spread the word, really what TAPA means. And of course, TAPA is more known when you have more members, than 20 years ago. And it was always fun, and when I meet people here, I know already for 25 years. And I was just behind the stage here, and we had a chat, and he said, I still remember when we've been less than 60 people in the room. I still remember that we started with 9 people at a table. So, and that's really interesting. And later today, you will see and hear some other stories from people which are here from day one. And that's really quite important. And that's also very impressive because, as I said, it was really an idea from 4 people in the US. It spread over to Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and then we started the game here in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Because it is a very intense market. Europe, Middle East, and Africa is a very diverse market. And last but not least, I think it's also quite important that we have a lot of challenges in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. The European Commission is not always easy, as we also know. And as you also know, criminals are taking always advantage. When we have code of conducts, we follow business politics, we follow business ethics, we follow rules, we follow policies. Criminals, they don't care. For them, the most important thing is to have the biggest profit in the shortest period of time with the lowest risk. What does it mean? Supply chain. Perfect. Huge profit, low risk, and again, very easy targets, unfortunately. Okay, the demand for resilience, as you can see, it's even going up. And it's quite important that partnership is the key thing for TAPA Europe, Middle East, and Africa since day one. Partnership, partnership, partnership. Because we are only as strong as our weakest link. And why should we reinvent the wheel when there's another partner who's already doing it? And that's the reason why we are very close and very active, in our partnerships. IUMI, the International Union of Maritime Insurance, is for me a very good example. And Björn Hartong is going to all their meetings on behalf of TAPA. Why? Because he's representing the insurance industry. And they speak sometimes a very crazy language. You will never understand that. It's like R2-D2 or something like that. It's like an attorney. If you talk to an attorney, who understands an attorney? Nobody. Only attorneys. They also speak something different. But it's the same like when I speak with Antonio or Leonie on supply chain security and we start with FSR, TSR, PSR, and we go to the SCC, SS, and TIS. It's also a very interesting language because it's a different language. What does it really mean? It really means that if you look at the market and what we recorded for you, and I would like to say really a big thanks to the companies already sharing data, We recorded more than 157,000 incidents in the last 3 years in our TIS tool, which is, by the way, the biggest number. We have Jens here, and you will hear him tomorrow from Europol. We have also the Dutch police here. We have the UK police here. All of them are using our tool because we have the best data, let's say, in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, when not even globally. That's really quite important. And again, a special thanks to all the members sharing their data. But I would like to have a more thanks to other members. And I'm really questioning, why do you not share data? Please share your data. Everything is neutralized. Nobody will see your name. Nobody will see a product name. Let's discuss. We can even say, you know what, your numbers will only go into the big number, into the overview, but not into the details. There's a lot of solutions. Another solution is that we will invest now into artificial intelligence to make TIS even more attractive. Then, for example, you do not need to calculate the average loss anymore, or you need to go to the data comparison. You can ask the question directly to TIS and say, what is the average over the last 2 months? And TIS will give you the answer. You know, how many sites are certified within DHL? It's 484. Was it 484 or 482? See? So, how many people are right now here in the auditorium? How many members we have? So you can really ask a lot of questions. But I think what is also quite important, if you look at the next number, 2 billion euro, 2.7 billion euro being reported over the last 3 years, which is representing 5.6%, you know, of all incidents, which is nothing. Nevertheless, it's better than no numbers. And all our numbers being also shared with the European Commission, and they had a huge study ongoing, and they used our numbers for the new study on safe and secure parking places within Europe, Middle East, and Africa. I can continue with numbers. If you look at the last 24 hours and so on, but it doesn't matter, because what is for me more important is really to share with you really what's going on. You will see all the slides, by the way, in the next Vigilant, but you also see all the slides in the monthly report and in the monthly Vigilant and in the app later on. So today, everything what is on the road will be stolen. Everything. You know, I have a discussion Monday with people for high tech. Tuesday it's pharma. Wednesday is tobacco. Thursday is food. Friday is whatever. Saturday and Sunday normally is the criminals take a break and enjoy the life. They're lying at the beach, they have a nice pina colada, and they go to the pubs with their Lamborghini and have really fun. But what is quite important, the question is not if you will become a victim of the crime. The question is when you will become a victim of the crime. And I still remember when TAPA had the first presentations in front of pharma. And we've been to huge pharma congresses. And they told us, yeah, but Thorsten, you know, nobody is stealing pharma really. This changed dramatically. And we only talk about 10 years. That's it. Pharma is now one of the biggest drivers within TAPA Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And that's the point. Because again, you can do whatever you want, you will be a victim of a crime. Criminals are really targeting everything right now. So using intelligence is one of the most important things. Sharing information. Data. And life is easier now because, as you know, now we have more data. We have more technology. We have more stuff. I'm searching for the cable. It was here this morning. It's quite funny, you know, but I cannot see it anymore. So, but it doesn't matter. Because what is important for me, I would love to go now live into TIS, but again, it's not important because I can explain it to you. So who is using TIS? Really, who's using TIS? So raise your hand up. Who's using TIS? Okay. Now the question is, who was not raising the hand? So why do you not use TIS? This is one of your biggest benefits, to be transparent and to understand what's going on within your supply chain. This is your biggest tool as a member to understand where we have high-risk areas. And this is something which is giving you the right numbers where you can go to your C-suite and can tell them why you are here. Because this is a game changer for you. Because you have data where you can compare yourself with the industry. And that's really quite important. And here's a reason also why we always change. Because our industry, our association is not a competition. It's not a race. So there's no finish line. Whatever we do, there's always continuous improvement. Always. We always look for the next. We always look, what can we do different? What else do we need to do to protect our stuff to the lowest level possible? There is no 100% security. That's very important. But what you can do, you can establish and you can drive industry standards into your supply chain on the way where you can mitigate your risk. And a great example is the cybersecurity standard. You know, the team worked very hard on that. And it's not, let's be very open and honest, it's not a standard which is there for the big guys. You know, it's there for the small companies. It's there for trucking companies with 5 trucks or 10 trucks. But it's giving you the guidance and it's giving you the information you need to mitigate your risk also related to cyber attacks. What is also quite important, you know, as you know, we always need to connect the dots. We always need to understand that people and technology is the key to success. We need to find the right middle. We need to find the right way between people and technology. You can have the best technology in the world, but if you don't have the right people, technology brings you nothing. Technology makes life easier, but not always more secure. Of course, there's a technology which makes life more secure. But again, a lot of technology makes your life easier, but not more secure. I'm really looking forward to a session tomorrow, because we have tomorrow here a life hack session. And trust me, they will show you things which is very interesting. Because this time, after last year, I said, show them something which they're really frightening them. You know, that they will not switch on the mobile phone when they are staying beside me. No, I'm just kidding. You know, but there's a lot of things on the market which is crazy to see how easy it is, especially with modern technology. The next number, everybody in the TAPA EMEA team and the family is super proud of. As already said, so when we started the transformation 5 years ago, you know, that we hired, you know, myself, we hired people, you know, we created an amazing team supporting you as the members of this really great industry association. You know, like Up, like George, Marcos, Melissa, Tamara, and all the others supporting us. Our latest member numbers is more than double than when we started. And if you calculate correctly, you will see that we have now 993 corporate memberships. 7 more. And we have the golden and platinum 1,000. So 1,000 industry companies are fighting the same fight. And that's the point. That's the goal. But it's not only, you know, that we have this amazing growth over the last couple of years. And we report to you in all our AGMs, always record over record over record. But it's the brand behind it. And that's really quite important. You know, big brands, you know, like Volkswagen, like BMW, you know, like Tesla, like Louis Vuitton, Levi's, and so on. So they all join really the forces. They all would like to fight against the criminals. And that's really important, again, to understand, you know, also from a logistics point of view. We don't have only the big players. We also have the small companies. Because at the end of the day, they carry your goods. And what is also important, that if you look at it, at the, you know, the latest companies, there's a lot of automotive. That's also interesting. Because I still remember when I was spending at least 3 meetings in a very small city in Germany, which is called Wolfsburg. I think you know the brand already, you know, and to influence them to say, you must become a TAPA member, because I know that you have challenges. But of course, it's not easy to say, yeah, I do, but we won them. And now, if you look at the car manufacturers, especially from the European brand, we really have nearly all manufacturers. What is also quite important and really interesting is that our spread and our footprint is getting bigger and bigger from a country point of view, because that's exactly what we need. This is where we go to the field. I'm sorry to say it, but I don't know always what's going on in Romania, or what's going on in Italy, or what's going on in Nigeria, Burkina Faso, whatever, you know, but we have you. So you are our eyes and our ears on the ground. And you share with us what's going on right now. And that's exactly what we need. Gathering information, gathering data. What is the latest trend related to cargo crime criminals in South Africa? What's going on right now in Romania? What's going on in Paris? What's going on in nicely Copenhagen from a cargo crime point of view, or in Stockholm? So that's really quite important, and that's the reason why we also focus heavily on local activities. So like local conferences, a conference which will take place in your language. So we go to France and you speak French. It's very easy. What else should you speak in France? You go to Germany and you speak German. You go to the Netherlands and they speak something different. Or they speak Dutch. Okay, but that's really quite important, and that's exactly where the team is now focused on. We also meet, of course, the needs of the growing TAPA family, and I will be very fast on this one right now, because my focus is really where we were listening to you. We listen to you, we learn from you, and then we adjust ourselves and bring new opportunities. And one opportunity, for example, is our new country membership. A country membership means you have full benefits with a little bit limitations. And the biggest one is that you are not allowed, for example, to come to this conference. That's the biggest difference. Why are you doing something like this? Yeah, oh. This is a very interesting thing. It must come from the finance. Of course you are allowed to come when you pay for it. Okay? That's also quite important, and listen very carefully to what Up will say in our finance update. Because payments is not always the best, but it's getting better. So the country membership, it's an amazing opportunity for you. But it's also an opportunity for you to drive compliance within your certification. Markus Prinz will have a big session tomorrow on this one, and he will also be available after the session to answer all your questions. I'm really happy now to announce today that we will also roll out another new membership opportunity, which is the enterprise membership. Enterprise membership means that you are a big player. You're a global player. You really have hundreds of different entities under the same name. And I hope I'm okay with it to pick one company now, because he was the speaker before me in this session. DHL Express is the best example. You heard it this morning, DHL Express is having hundreds of certifications, they have hundreds of entities. And we cannot say to them, yeah, but you need, for every entity, you need a membership. So which means at the end of the day, for them, they need to have 100 and whatever memberships. No, what we say is, we go now for an enterprise membership. And the enterprise means every entity behind the DHL Express is part of your membership. And it doesn't matter, the GmbH, the LTT, the BV, the SAS, the OI, whatever. So all the stuff behind DHL Express. It does not mean that DHL Global Forwarding is part of it, because that's another name that's quite important. And I'm not picking this one, but I can also say TAPA Logistics and TAPA Warehousing is different, okay? This is an amazing opportunity for the big guys. So if you have questions on that, please let us know. I already mentioned country activities, and I already mentioned what is important to really understand the local challenges, but also speak in your local language. And I'm really happy to announce the next 2 dates. So we will have a regional conference in Warsaw, which will take place on the 2nd of October in 2025. You will see and hear more information on this one. We will also have a special conference for the French people in Paris, which will take place on the 14th of October. So communications will come soon. And we will also open registrations for both events. The French event is 100% in French. The Warsaw event will be a mix between Polish and English. And if you have more questions on that, again, the entire team is here. We have the board members. We have also the local leads like Leonie for France, and we are here to answer your questions. If you wondered why we do not roll out the Young Supply Chain Resilience Professional Award of the Year, we will do it on the 1st of May 2025. Because this conference is 2 months earlier than what we normally had. Normally, our conference always been around June. So this year, as you know, it's beginning of April. Next year, potentially, it will be also end of April or May. But we will come back to you also on this one. please let us also know, because we transitioned significantly, please let us know how can we help you and how you can help us to help you. So we want your feedback. We want to understand, do you like the app? Do we need to adjust something? It's not our app, by the way. You know, it's a market app, but it's very nice. So, because we are one of the big clients for them, when we say something, they do something. It's also quite important, you know, we would like to understand from you, how do you like the new setup? How do you like it that, you know, we are not going to hotels anymore? And there's a reason for that, because there's nearly no hotel anymore to really can fit so many people, including the exhibition and the catering and the party and so on and so on. Offer us venues for local events. Because when we talk about a local event, we talk about like 50 to 100, maybe 150 participants. And I know that some of your companies, they have the venue, they have the location. And I must say, you know, last year we had significant success in Lisbon and in Madrid, and we've been invited by the law enforcement agencies, by the police forces. And they gave us their venue. And of course, you know, I will also reach out and we all will reach out to like Europol or Jens and say, hey, can we go to Europol? Have an event there, why not? It's also quite important, as often as you can, share data on TIS. You know, Satya and the team is here. So the team handling this data, they are all here. Share your cargo crime data, share intelligence, use the application, which is very important. I know that I said it already, and you know exactly what I'm saying right now. A TAPA membership means nothing. Nothing. You need to be active. This is the most important thing. If you're not active, you will change nothing for your company. You know, it's like becoming a member of a golf club. You never go to the green. You never play. You can never increase and make your handicap better. Because I don't want to use the gym right now, because I did it already quite often. But you know exactly what I'm talking about. Understand the standards. Train your people. Create a mindset change. Because what you would like to ensure is awareness. Awareness. What's going on? Tell your people what is the challenge. Okay, this was my part, my first part. And I'm now really happy to hand over to our Chief Financial Officer. And Boom, you should go this way up. Oh, you have another one? He's got a secret? That's the reason why. Before Ab will come on stage, it's also quite important, we have a lot of networking opportunities, as you know. We have a lot of sessions, okay? I'm here, I know it's not always easy to grab me, but I'm here, and please grab me, okay? So, Ab, over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. No good afternoon? Good afternoon. Yeah, we're awake. So I'm going to take you to the formal part of the AGM. Don't think too light about it. It's very important for an association like ours. My dear TAPA EMEA friends, you know that's a word you hear already for a long time when you are in TAPA, but also for a short time when you're a short-time member. You hear the word friend, you hear the word ambassador. We are a real association. And again, it's so good to experience the atmosphere here in the CCD. In 2024, we continue to realize a growth in membership, certification, both trainings and standards. And being your CFO, it's an honor and a privilege that all TAPA EMEA members, and especially your chosen board members here in the first row, have given our team the trust and instruments to keep TAPA EMEA growing. And that our members, our premier partners, and our exhibitors make this all possible. Because what is happening in TAPA EMEA is what I sense from the beginning, that I'm a member of TAPA, and later on a team member of TAPA, that we are a TAPAized community. Also in 2024, the books of TAPA EMEA, as a non-taxable, non-for-profit legal entity, and the three TAPA EMEA owned taxable entities, the BV in the Netherlands, the GmbH in Germany, and the PTI Limited in South Africa. All the administration is thoroughly administered by the team, and checked on trade law and tax compliance with 2 external accountant companies, OA MKB in the Netherlands and DHPG in Germany. And I realize the letters are not readable, but if you want a copy of the letters, we're happy to send them. You see here the copy of their officially defined statement, but next to all of this, we consult for fiscal advice frequently fiscal lawyers in both countries where we are legally active. We are doing this to make sure that we, the complete board, are always tax and trade law compliant and strictly follow all concerning regulations and legislation. And this demands that we have a 4I principle, in some cases even a 6I principle, in place for all financial topics. For the first time in my short career as CFO of your association, we have an outcome which we are not proud of. So when we started the takeover from the former administration company in the build-up for the next 5 years after that, we thought we had a lot of good members, and that's true. 99% of our members are good members. Unfortunately, there were a few members who were not behaving like members, and that means they were not paying their dues. And for this reason, the board, by person of the treasurer, said in 2024, we will correct this in the bookkeeping, because we cannot draw this whole amount of money, and as you can see on the slide, it's a huge amount of money. We cannot take that with us in the years to come. So we took the painful but good decision in 2024 to write off nearly 330,000 euros in membership fees which are due. That doesn't mean that those people are off the hook. For the first time in our history, we hired an external debt collector to go behind those companies. What you see further on this slide are the 2 main categories how we do our bookkeeping, which in itself is a simple bookkeeping. And of course, the nitty-gritty details are not that simple, but we do most of our work for the members. And that's why we decided to make it visible in a member part and a non-member part. If you take a look at the income, then you see that approximately 80% of all our income is spent on our members, and nearly, or even higher, 95%. And 5% of that is going to other obligations we have to fulfill. If there are any questions, please use the app so that I'm here all the days so that we can answer your questions. And then I come to you. You have an action. And yeah, that's always a formal statement, but the AGM is the highest responsible entity we have in our association. The AGM is driven the association, and that means we need your approval, because otherwise we can't close the books. So maybe I can invite the board to stand up so that you see them all. The board is consisting of your chosen members, the non-executives and 2 executives. And I suggest, you already applaud, but I would like again to pull out the action that you have to decharge or exempt the board from a responsibility point of view for the 2024 administration. Can I ask your permission for that? Thank you. I won't take too long on the 2025 outcome. What I want to like to highlight is that we are seeing that all the 4 years of hard work we're doing, and of course the years before was also hard work, but in the last 4 years we invested a lot of making the TAPA bus, the Taparized bus, you know, this word, this rumor in the market. And we are very successful in that. And what you can see in this slide is that we are already again back on track. Of course it hurt last year that we have to book off a huge amount of money, but we were, let's say, more or less complimented by the whole of EMEA by already getting 90 members in the first 3 months of 2025, which is a great achievement. And then we go to some alignment on the Constitution. When we were bringing our last version of the Constitution to the notary in the Netherlands, he said, yeah, you make a kind of a distinguish between your members, and you should make that as equal as possible. So we have had legal advice on that. And then I think a lot of security service providers I've spoken to, or we have spoken to, Thorsten also speaks a lot to them, will be very happy. That means that finally, after 25 years, we have great trust in our security service providers members, and we will give them voting rights in our association. Another alignment which we will make there is that we will equal all the conference access for the members in the same way. That means that each and every member from 2026 on will have 2 seats in the conference. And then we come to the membership fees. We were always very proud, both the non-executives and we as executives, to have the last 15 meetings of the AGM without any raise in membership fee. And this is no longer possible, because as you all, it's not for a simple reason that we are in Germany. We tried again to organize the conference in Amsterdam, and to find a simple example, to find a hotel room in Amsterdam lower than 200 euros is nearly impossible. If you take a look at restaurant prices, if you take at all the prices, it's getting more expensive and more expensive. That means that the board is suggesting, and of course we will inform you later on, also the members who are not present, with a 10% raise in fee for 2026. And this price index is meant to address all the rising market costs. And we hope, and it will for sure, support our existing membership benefits and new member benefits. But in the end, to raise the membership fees is not only up to the board, it's also up to the members. So for this adjustment of the constitution, we will come back to you and counsel you on that by an electronic voting system. What we really want to establish is a platform for a sustainable future. The changes we are making, and which are necessary, will help us with a wider choice of membership options to suit all types of companies, as already explained by Thorsten. We want to have simplified administration of membership for large global members. We will have a lower cost of entry for SME companies and other seeking only a country membership. As said, and we're not proud of that, but it's needed, we will have an additional income to cover the rising market costs. And we will have resources to support TAPA EMEA's existing and new member benefits for 2026 and beyond. Any questions, please raise them via the app. As said, the whole team is here to answer your questions. And this then closes the formal part of the AGM, and then it's over to Thorsten again.
Perfect. Thank you, Ab. Perfect. Please stay on stage. Please stay here. We have the first question. As already said, it's very difficult when you have so many people in the room, so we cannot say anymore. We have, our people running around and handing over microphones. So the first question is coming on the enterprise membership. All of you can read the question, by the way. So if you open the app, you know exactly what question I will answer now, okay? I need to answer the question in 2 parts. TAPA is divided into 3 regions. We have TAPA Americas, we have TAPA APEC, and we have TAPA EMEA. They are all independent registered industry associations or non-profit industry associations, all of them. So which means we have different memberships in all regions. I can say that APEC and EMEA, they offer an enterprise membership. Americas, so far, I'm not aware of that. So which means, at the end of the day, if you're becoming a member, an enterprise member in EMEA, it's for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. That's very important. It's not for the other regions. We have discussions on global membership. I don't know if Lawrence Brown is already in the room. Is Lawrence Brown already in the room? Ha! You will see Lawrence later, okay? We have discussions on a global membership already for the last 15 years. Unfortunately, also because of regulations, and that's very important, non-profit regulations are very, very, really strict, because otherwise you lose your non-profit status. And that's the reason why we need to be very sensitive on this one. There's the next question, and you can read the question, and I can see the person. It's very easy. I love the app already. I love it. The 2 seats for the conference will be for all members because we align all membership categories for 2 seats. So we equal it. And there's another reason for that, as already said by Up. And we are more than happy to share with you the details. Conference costs, especially because we are growing, are going through the roof. And there are 2 goals. We do not want to charge you for the conference, and we do not want to charge you for the dinner/party. And that's the reason why we align it. And I can tell you, we have here in the room right now more than 380 companies, and only 60 are having 3 representatives here. The rest is either 1 or 2. Okay, I can also give you the extreme. We have even companies with more than 3, and more than 10, and more than 20, but they paid for it. That's very important. You can always have 3. You can have also 4. You can have 5. You can have 10. Up is the happiest person in the world when he can send you an invoice.
True.
That's how easy it is. And you pay for it. That's a very good one. That's very important. Okay? Okay, any further questions? It doesn't look like that. I have one more very important topic. If you registered for the dinner, you should have received a band or for the party. It's very important. No band, no entry. Okay? So that's the reason why we hand you out a band. So please have it tomorrow. The band is for tomorrow, this little thing here. Okay, of course, I think it will be on eBay later on for 20 euro, 50 euro. It's a collector's item. Everybody would like to have a totally Tupperized band. I still have some. So if you want some. No. Thanks to the entire board. Thanks to Up. That was our first session. I wish you a great rest of the conference. Grab us, grab the board members if you have questions. And I'll see you later. Over to Sam again. Thank you. Thank you.